This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
This morning and welcome back to Guardian 96.9 FM, your station for fresh news, smart talk all day. Today is Thursday, the 1st of July, 2021, and you're on the clock with Erin, Greene, and my co-host today, Deborah Deal. Now, I call her my guest co-host because I can't just call her a regular guest, because Miss Deal has been a part of the Guardian platform on the Connected show with Lester Cox, right? And she became a regular co-host. And I think she was chosen not just because she's one of the fastest woman contractors in the country. She good, you know. But because of her commitment to conservation and energy and that realm of development in the country. That's a big commitment, right? So I'm happy to have Deborah Deal on the show with me today, the 1st of July. And she don't know it yet, but she can be coming back on with me a couple times, at least this month, because it's an important month, right? First of all, we're moving into independence. And I want to talk to people who is build things throughout this July month. People who understand what is required to create, to construct, to curate, to build and design things. I think the conversations that we can have with those people are going to be very helpful for us as we figure out where we're going in this 2021 season. How are we building our country? How are we building the vehicles we expect to take us where we want to go? Absolutely. So I want to say good morning, Deborah. How you doing?
Morning to you too, and happy Canada Day to any Canadians that are living here in the Bahamas. Yes.
And to all the Bahamians living in Canada.
Correct.
Bahamians who
going to school there.
Right, going to school, working, who have migrated, who have claimed asylum, who want to make Canada their new home. Mm-hmm. Remember, you have a responsibility to grow the country that you spending time in, whether you're going to come back home or you're going to remain there or you're going to go somewhere else. Mm-hmm. The responsibility is always with you to build up the space that you've been in, to ensure that it is better when you leave it than it was when you found it, right?
Right.
That's your commitment. And we know Canada going through some things, and they could use some good old Bahamian creativity, ingenuity, kindness, generosity, right? Like these are the things that make us who we is. And so I introduced Deborah this morning because she may want to chime in my housekeeping and what's in the news segment. Well, first of all, let me remind you, today's show is brought to you by the Department of Inland Revenue. And the Department of Inland Revenue has extended their real property tax forgiveness program until August 31st, 2021. You can find further information by emailing rptforgive@bahamas.gov.bs, or you can call 242-225-5778. And that is a toll-free number. Please take advantage of this extended opportunity. So first thing on the list, Roy Seligman, young Bahamian, abroad doing big things, the only international student left in the finals round. Now, Roy, they're going to give you a very hard word. They're going to give you the word mango. Right? But you need to understand the traditional spelling of the word mango. It's too long to spell, but when you sound it out, right, it's MYMOTHERLOVEMANGOES. That's how you spell mangoes. Don't let them people fool you up there, right? Tell them they are obligated to recognize the international spelling of the word mangoes. And it's spelled MYMOTHERLOVESMANGOES. That's how you spell it. Don't let them fool you up there. Good luck, boy.
Yeah, honestly, if you consider the fact that we have between 350 and 400,000 people and the talent that we have in this country, I mean, this young boy is actually going there and representing the Bahamas. And like you said, he's the only person that's there that is not from the country where it's being held at,
Yeah.
right? So, I mean, that's amazing. And then we have our track stars now that are away. I mean, we really do have a lot of talent. It's a shame that we didn't have more... I guess sponsors in a way would be the word, financial aspects where we can actually send our people away without them having to worry about, doing all the training and then 2 weeks before they can't get the ticket and all that kind of stuff. But
Right.
Anyway, that's another conversation, but I'm really, really proud of that young man.
Right, and it's an important point that I'm going to, thank you. I'm going to add to the list of things to touch on. We love to talk about all the talent. Politicians love to tout how talented the people under their care are, but we don't really care for them. And by now we should have had investment mechanisms to support, like you say, support the training opportunity and the athletes in their opportunities to go abroad.
Right, because there are companies here that have sponsored, but what happens is whenever there's an event, the same large companies get asked to do it at all the time.
Yeah.
And they really can't. So a lot of them have basically said, no, we're not doing it any longer. And they basically have no choice because they either sponsor all or they sponsor none.
Right.
So we need to come up with another mechanism, like maybe part of an agreement that if you're going to come in and build a hotel or if you're going to come in and do whatever, water sports or whatever you're going to do, if you're going to come in, then we would like you to actually help sponsor a field, like if you're doing a hotel. So let's maybe sponsor 2 swimmers.
Yeah.
If you're going to do something else, maybe you're going to sponsor some basketball. I mean, let's just add that into our contracts. Why not?
Absolutely.
People are going to come in here and benefit from us. Why shouldn't our youth not benefit from it?
And then I will say to the Ministry of Tourism, the hotels, and then the non-governmental tourist special interest body, right? Because surely as Bahamians by 2021, we have a lobbying or organizing body centered around tourism that's not government run or managed, right?
Correct.
Because here's what I want to see. I was online, and like I say this right now, I am not promoting violence. But I was online, and I watching the World Championship of slapping people. There is a competition, right, where we have to be, these ain't no puny people also. Y'all don't go around here playing. These are trained athletes. And the competition is a slapping competition, open hand slap. And it is generating tons of viewers and it's generating tons of money, right? So I'm thinking to myself, but one of these mega resorts around here could define themselves as the center for alternate sports championships, right? So imagine if we had a parking championship here in the Bahamas. We ain't ready for slapping.
No.
They're Bahamas. We are not.
No.
Culturally,
That's offensive.
we are not ready. Well, it's a trait. It's offensive when you don't take it seriously, right? It's
Right.
these guys are trained athletes.
Right.
Right? And they got medical staff on board. But our temperament, we're not ready for a slapping competition yet.
Unless we're a bunch of women at the point walking across the road.
There you go. There you go. In which case, no more slapping up this morning. But thank you for that, Deborah. But let me tell you who's not slapping up.
No.
The second young person on my what's in the news today, it's not in the formal news yet. Apparently, there's a young man by the name of Cartier Carey, right? And Cartier Carey had a lemonade stand. And he raised enough money to purchase over 22,000 diapers to distribute to mothers in need. And I don't want to call them single mothers, but single parent household caregivers, right? Wow. Single mothers. And I'm sure Cartier would be, I think Cartier is a young man, would be open to fathers who have primary care of their children, accessing Pampers as well if they need it. Wow. So I want to send a shout out to Cartier. At the same time, I want to say to the lawmakers, the powers that be, the special interest group, and even to myself, because I realize that this is something that I could and should be doing with my time. How have we ensured, what are we doing to make sure that as we experience more and more supply chain issues, access to product issues, so it's not just the supply chain issues isn't just can we get the product, it's how much time it takes to get here, right? How are we going to ensure that we have access to feminine hygiene protection for approximately 50% of your population, your adult population? And how are we going to ensure that we have access to the adult diapers and baby diapers that we need? Now, I just think about this, but Ms. Deal, I'm going to write a formal letter to the Chamber of Commerce and ask them if they could give me some advice, if they could set me in the right direction, right, on how I would start a body to ensure that women and people, because men is buy these things for their women too, men buy them for their daughters, right. Access to feminine hygiene protection.
Yeah, not just going with feminine hygiene protection, because the rest of the world has also been closed down for the last year and a half. A lot of businesses still are not back up full staff. Mm-hmm. So manufacturing in many countries is so far behind. I mean, it doesn't matter. Buildings, I'm a builder, so building supplies are very difficult to get. Yeah. And they're so expensive. So it's kind of, I guess the only thing I can think of is finding out all of the major suppliers or manufacturers of them in the world. Yeah. And see what can possibly be done to make sure that a little place like us gets our fair share.
Right. And maybe it's an initiative to take through CARICOM, right? Like maybe we go to speak to CARICOM, because Bahamas is a small place, and we're not the only country in the region experiencing this,
and
right?
Look, there's many Caribbean countries that only have like 100,000, 120,000 people, so everybody's suffering the same way.
Yeah, yeah. It's a good thing I know a Bahamian who have a company that makes diapers and certain hygiene style products in the Dominican Republic.
Good for
and
you.
And all I have to do now is find a way to politely coerce him. Coerce is another way to say shame him into figuring out how he's going to bring his product to the Bahamas or bring production to the Bahamas, or how we can get a whole bunch of Bahamians down to where he is to learn the skill and work in the business, right? Until he could expand it and open up another production site in the Bahamas.
Truthfully, many years ago, Wayne Cartwright, their family owns Cartwright Building Supply, said to me one time, I don't know about selling this kind of stuff. He says, if I had my way, I would sell toilet paper, sanitary napkins, and diapers, because those are things that you always need. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So, yeah. I totally agree. I'm on board with that.
And trust me, if you guys remember the conversation we were having yesterday with Equality Bahamas about their sort of manifesto, feminist standards for governance for the 2022-2027 administration, one of the things that I will be ensuring is included in that document is that we need a national policy statement on the provision of and access to feminine hygiene products and general hygiene products like baby diapers and adult diapers.
Right, and we need to make sure that they're of a good standard. Yeah. We have Bahamas Bureau of Standard and Quality now, so we need to make sure that things that come into this country, because things that we send out have to meet the standards of the country you're sending it to. Otherwise, you send a pallet of something to some country and it doesn't meet it, that pallet just comes back or stays right there and doesn't go into the country. So those are things that we need to look at as well. We don't just because we need it doesn't mean we need to take things that are not up to standard.
Absolutely.
Because the products that we're using are in places that need to be well done, well made, sanitary.
And I need you all to understand at a political level, this is not going to be a matter of political expediency, right? It's not going to be like, well, it's the cheapest thing we could find. The women better like it. No, this is these are our bodies. And we need to ensure that we are only putting in the highest quality and standard products in our bodies.
Correct.
So on to another note. The Caribbean Culture Fund is hosting a logo competition. I just thought I would mention it. I don't know much about it, but queries and more information can be fielded. More information can be found at caribbeanculturefund@gmail.com. And they say our vision is the Caribbean Culture Fund seeks to enable an innovative, inclusive, and socially transformative cultural ecology in the Caribbean and its diaspora by supporting the arts and culture of the region in a manner which is respectful of traditional and cultural specificity and attuned to social and cultural change. That is awesome. Again, more information can be found at caribbeanculturefund@gmail.com. I see we're almost at the half-hour mark, so we're not going to really talk about the Bill Cosby ruling being overturned yesterday, except for one thing. Dear Bahamians, it is time for us to have a serious discussion with ourselves. We need to ask ourselves if it's time to let Hollywood go. If it's time to let Hollywood go, because I'm 45 and I've been watching TV from I was 5 years old, right? And I don't understand how young people keep getting caught up in this vicious and nasty machine called the Hollywood production room. Anyway, the point is this. We're not blaming the victims. We just won't. That's not what we do. We're going to find solutions to this problem. And it seems to me the only solution is for us to look inside ourselves and ask ourselves, what are we willing to tolerate for our own entertainment? Because that's why Hollywood keeps floating, because we want to be entertained and we want to see movies, right? If we change ourselves, then we could change Hollywood. We need to tell the people in Hollywood that this can no longer be tolerated. I know it's only 400,000 of us here, and we ain't really no big deal, but we got 3,000 islands, and people really love coming here. And maybe if we started a trend where we told people involved in Hollywood, you can't come here because y'all is allow, even if you're not participating in it directly, it seems that y'all allow things to happen around you that just should not be tolerated. So maybe the only answer to this vexing and heinous problem is that we have to be the adults and shut off the TV. That's it.
He just had a better lawyer. His lawyer was able to actually use the law to make sure that he was able to get off. That's all.
Right.
It doesn't say at all that he did not do it.
Yeah, right.
Or that he isn't responsible. It just said his lawyer was a better lawyer.
Right, and I am not 1,000% certain, but it seemed as if someone was saying, yeah, you just weren't allowed to use the confession. And that's what the problem was, right? Like, you weren't allowed to use the confession in court. And that's what the problem was, which is...
If you read, though, that the two things that he got off on,
yeah,
it was basically technicality.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, yeah.
It was the law.
You're not allowed to use the confession, which is like, okay. Anyway, because really the indictment is on us. There's nothing we could do about those people. It turns out not all of the prayers in the world, all of the well-wishing, all of the demanding, the sexual impropriety, the rape, the molestation, the taking advantage of the vulnerable stop, none of that is helping. But maybe if we turn off the TV, maybe if we encourage others to shut down Hollywood, then it'll stop, because Cosby's conviction didn't stop it. Recognition of these predators aren't stopping it. And that doesn't mean we stop going after the predators. It means that we shift, and maybe a greater solution is within us.
Yeah, better moral fiber.
Absolutely. Absolutely. One last thing before we go. The Caribbean Tree Planting Week is upon us. What a wonderful time of the year. Caribbean Philanthropic Alliance Tree Planting Project has begun. And I think they were on Nahaja Black's show this week or last week. But they say during the week and beyond, national teams from Haiti to the Bay Islands of Honduras, from the Caymans to the Bahamas will be busy planting trees where possible, given COVID restrictions, and engaging in related activities. If organizations would like to get involved, they can register their activity at bit.ly3GHVGFH. That's one little internet code. But what you could also do is you can go online and search Caribbean Philanthropic Alliance Tree Planting Week, right? Please plant a tree. Do not plant a marijuana tree unless you have authorization from the ministers responsible according to provisions that already exist in law.
Right, but definitely plant a tree that has something you can eat on it.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I see we got a caller on the line, Arlington. Good morning, caller. How are you?
Hi.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Good morning to you and your guest.
Good morning.
I hope I'm not off topic, but I think if I bring it to your show, it gets heard on, because everybody don't listen to all the different shows. We have our different shows we pick.
Yeah.
Tourism is supposed to be our main industry. Bahamian people don't normally naturally get in other people's business.
Mm-hmm.
Our business is tourism.
Mm-hmm.
When the foreigners come, for whatever reason, especially the direct foreign investments, when they come,
Okay.
we need our successive governments to comprehend from back then, to let these people know what you're buying. This is how it looks. This is it. These are the people here. This is what you have to deal with. They're not asking to own your property when it comes to tourism and water sports. The hotel cannot be allowed to be given duty-free on a whole lot of stuff to do business here, and be allowed to cut Amos Jr. Miller out of his umbrella idea. That will cause World War III and IV. Okay? I'm just letting you all know. All right? Now, I have at least 1,000 reasons why the tourism industry in this country will be dead, totally finished, if this government and cabinet and the leader of the opposition, them said, do not tell Brookfield's hospitality management
Okay,
and
Amos,
tell the world what they
Amos.
mean.
Oh, hold on. I can cut you there. Let me tell you why. Because I'm not certain where you're going with this. I can be honest with you. I am all invested in engaging and assessing and reimagining our relationship with our tourism partners. I am all for that. I was inciting where you was going with that just now. I mean, on top of that, we really need a broader conversation, right, than individual experiences. We really need a national conversation about the Bahamians' place in the national tourism product. And I want to do that conversation justice. Also, don't call no company name. I can't afford to get sued. You can't afford to get sued. None of us could afford to get sued right now. And that's a part of the problem. I see we got another caller on the line. Caller, you on the clock?
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Amos tripping.
No, I mean, he needs
Deborah.
a viable mechanism
Or
for
see a lawyer.
resolution. Yeah.
See a lawyer. Seek a lawyer. Anyhow, Deputy Deal,
Yes, sir.
you are a builder, right?
Yes, sir.
I've been looking for this every hurricane, right? I have to change the air to my roof. Now, I have a couple of two-story building. I don't realize until the buckets are the rot. And my friend of mine in the States, he build. It's a new thing called starter shingles.
Yeah, there's starter shingles or there's starter rolls that you can actually buy and
Do
put on
they
first.
sell them here?
Yeah, they sell them here. The starter
Why don't they?
rolls. Go ahead.
Why they don't put it in our building code? Because once you put that down, your roof will last 30 years. For all the hurricanes, it's like liquid nails to the end of your roof.
Right.
Only time your roof fails is when the wind picks them up the first two shingles and go under your roof.
The actual way that you do shingles is actually written directly on the actual bundle. Now, the building code does talk about building, how you do your roof, but it cannot. What can we do with the person who doesn't read it or the people who don't know how to read? I mean, that's one of the main problems we have about hurricanes, and actually that's why Erin brought me on today, was talk about the hurricanes. Shingles actually have a strip on the back that either you take it off or you don't take it off, depending on which shingle it is. And when you see a roof later on after a storm, all you see these little shiny things on the roof. Well, those shiny things were supposed to have come off so that the roof shingles would actually adhere to each other. That's the whole purpose.
Wait. For real?
For real.
Listen, just in case you're all hearing what Deborah Deal said, I have about 17 people I have to retroactively fire after the show because I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yes, you read the label on the architectural shingles. Basically, you leave that strip on because it's designed to actually melt in. But the regular shingles is generally made to take off. You just have to read the actual bundle. The problem with the construction industry is a lot of people cannot read and they get lazy. As in, and I'm not saying that because I have guys too that I've had for 38 years, but when you put your shingles on and you, the boss, leave and these things have to come off and nobody's there to make sure that happens, you might say he goes for an hour. So for an hour, the shingles that go on with the strip on. So when the hurricane comes, you can actually see when that person was not doing what he was supposed to do because he didn't think anyone would know. And the only time you find out these things is during a storm.
When you need it most.
And it's sad that the people who are relying on you, who have paid money to have you build the house, who have gotten a mortgage to build this house, cannot, unless they sit and watch, don't know if the people are doing whatever they're supposed to be doing right.
Yeah.
They don't know if they're using the right size and length of nails. They don't know any of that stuff. So they are at your mercy. Yeah. We really need to clean up the industry and make sure that all contractors are responsible for their crew.
Absolutely. I see we got a caller on the line. Let's go to the caller quickly. Good morning, caller. You got a question for Miss Deal this morning?
A pleasant good morning, Miss Greene.
Good morning.
And a pleasant good morning, Debbie Dean. Sparky here.
Hi, Sparky. How are you? I've been to Sparky's house. He asked me to come see his house with regard to something.
To see the mangoes. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I see.
No, well, I'm the kind of person that, because I want to help everybody, if you have an issue, I would like to come and you show me what the issue is, and I will tell you how to solve it.
Yeah.
That's in my nature.
And
So that's
Okay.
how I ended up meeting Sparky.
Good morning.
Okay, see, Debbie has been on many shows. I'm talking about electricity, how to cut your electricity, this and that. And sometimes Bahama just listen to shows, but they don't follow up. She has offered her advice, even a visit free of charge, to come to your home, give her your number, and she'll call you back. She'll get to your house. She'll come inside, walk through, check the bulbs you have, check everything, and then tell you how you could cut down your electrical bill if you don't have a solar panel. And I'd like to publicly thank her because she took time to come down to me, and I changed every light bulb in my house, everything I could, to LED.
How much money you saving now?
I don't know, but I know one thing. Saying I'm like I used to pay, plus I am retired, so whatever it is, I could drink a little bit more Guinness. But anyway, leave that alone.
Guinness for two.
And I would like to publicly thank Debbie for coming down, and I would advise anybody, if she offers her help, take advantage of it.
Yeah.
You know, because right now a lot of us even watched our house built, and like she's talking about the strip with the shingles. A lot of those contractors know about that little plastic strip behind there. But underneath that plastic strip, Miss Greene, is some glue contact thing. When you lay that on top of the other one, eventually the sun will bind the two shingles together.
Right.
Absolutely.
And if you build in your home and you come around there and see the man doing the shingles, and you don't see a bunch of those little plastic
Thank you.
things
On the
outside
ground.
on the ground,
Thank you.
you know the plastic thing's still on the shingle on the roof.
Absolutely.
Thank you,
And
Sparky.
then we don't know what happened. Like the home I bought, I got this through the government. So right now, I don't know what this will start up to if Hurricane should hit New Providence, because we have not had a direct hurricane like Abaco yet.
Yeah.
Right.
We will not find out that although we've been paying all the money on insurance, the bank will tell us they ain't giving us nothing after deductible. It don't value this, it don't value that.
Right.
That's when they take all your money and don't give you nothing back.
Thank you.
So,
Right.
so see, that's what the problem is with these shabby contractors around here. That's why you see, Ms. Greene, most of our public buildings last for 10 years, and then we got to implode them, blow them up, and build them again.
Yeah.
You see that American...
Sparky, I gotta go.
you
No,
see-
I gotta go, Sparky. Look here. I gotta go. Not because you used the word embassy and I know who you're talking about. Let me tell you who I'm talking about. So we got a registrar of contractors, right? And maybe what we need is we need to see coming out of that space a mechanism that citizens can access easily to verify the quality of a contractor, the quality of their work. And
Right.
in that, we need, in that mechanism, people who go out and inspect and do regular inspections on the work.
But those things are actually done, but they're done at particular stages. Like you have somebody from the Ministry of Works that goes out in
Yeah.
the 5 or 6 stages, right? If you have a mortgage, you have a person that goes out each stage to actually release funds. But you don't, once the shingles are on, you don't know how it was done.
Yeah.
You don't know what length nails that they used. You don't know if they're supposed to use stainless steel nails, you're not going to find out for 2 or 3 years till the rust comes through that they didn't use stainless steel nails. So even though I have a great crew, I still have to watch them on a regular basis.
Absolutely. Well, look here, we got to get to this break. Callers, you guys hold on. I'm sure Ms. Deal will love to answer your questions, and I got about 7 more questions for her myself. We'll be right back after this break. Thank you, Arlington.
I've been representing all my life. I'm getting ready to make it count this time. Census 2021 for your family line. You better get ready. It's about that time. So tell mama to be ready. Tell it to the whole family. The rock the top forward too. The count depends on you. So tell Ted to go tell below. Mark it down on your calendar. Census 2021. This one's for everyone.
Like what you're hearing on the show? Want to support the conversation? Sponsor On the Clock today. Call Janet Lees at 302-2304. That's 302-2304. Be the solution. Sponsor On the Clock with Erin Greene, where she dissects, we discuss, and you decide.
Crystal Cruises is setting sail for the Bahamas once again. Crystal will follow the strictest safety protocols as guests travel to Exuma, San Salvador, Long Island, and more. With a commitment to keep communities and guests safe and protect the environment, Crystal's decision to homeport in the Bahamas will boost tourism and support the local economy. Learn more at crystalcruises.com.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Good morning and welcome back to Guardian 96.9 FM. You're on the clock with Erin Greene and Debbie Deal. Y'all don't mind me. You hear that music playing, my theme song? Every time I hear that, I see some old heads like me, like 45, between 45 and 50, right, in the DJ booth, just rocking out with their grandson, DJ equipment. I love it. But listen, let's pause for a financial minute. Did you know the new Public Finance Act 2021 will focus on improving transparency of public finance and the governance arrangements for public entities? This new law comes into effect today, July 1st, 2021. This financial minute has been brought to you by the Ministry of Finance. Well, listen, dear callers, hold the line. I got to start with these texts. My text says, Amos is a voice crying in the wilderness. My Bahamian people need to take note of what he is saying. We don't own our industry. We done know that long time. We don't know that part. It's not the agitating the government to shift them. We need to start organizing in ways that give us a better grounding or opportunity to take advantage of what is available here. You can't beat the mega resort, especially if you like eating fancy food that you don't want to grow yourself. So what you got to do is figure out how to use the resort's presence to grow your capacity and your ability to participate in the wider tourism market. No crying, no complaining, waking and organizing and putting there's something to the wheelstone. I don't wake that hard. I don't remember them hard things. Another text, I'm a 54-year-old woman. I was always telling people for years those strips supposed to come off. Yep. Listen, dear Miss 54-year-old woman, these boy them don't like you talking to them, you know. They don't like you telling them things. Sometimes they don't like you sharing things that may be helpful for them to not destroy your house. But you got to do it anyway.
One thing I do with my guys is when I ask them to do something, I don't just tell them do it. I explain exactly why I'm asking them to do it. It's not because I'm being a pain in the you-know-what, because I can be.
Yeah.
But I want the best for my client. I want the best for my reputation and my guys.
And you don't want nobody coming to look at you in your face when they rip off in the middle of a storm.
But if a person can't read, they can't read the
exactly.
thing. So they don't know what that thing says.
Exactly. So
They
you
only
just-
do what the people that showed them how to do it 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago did.
Yeah.
So it's actually teaching them why the purpose in it and how it will actually save the roof.
And once you do that, they understand.
They get it.
All right, I got a caller on the line. Caller, you are on the clock.
Hello, Ms. Greene.
Good morning. How are you?
Everything cool, thank God for life. Good morning to your producer and to your guests and to all your listeners.
Blessings.
The other day when we were talking and I had hang up and gone and he was saying the only way the PLP could be ready and stuff like that. I just want you to know everything you said. I have to agree with you so much. You're a smart lady. You're smart.
Thank you.
True. And everything what you say, unless they consider those things and do those things, and you was right. Listen, you think it's possible maybe you could reach out to the president of the that's PPLB, the old BEC.
Okay.
For the workers, that's Carl Wilson.
Okay.
You hear what people saying on the news? I hear them saying that persons are being sexually harassed or molested on their job, man on man. Women being harassed. People can't have a bath. They don't have a bathroom to use on the family island. So maybe you could reach out. I have a number. I don't know if you want it now.
Give it to the producer.
Yeah, try to call back and give it to the producer.
Okay.
The president, Mr. Carl Wilson. Listen.
Because I don't know. I would like to get the number, but I don't know if he wants you to share it on air.
Yeah. That's true. Some of the numbers, them they just give it because in their position they there to help and to serve. He's the kind of person who there to serve.
Well, give it then.
What I know about you.
Okay.
Yeah. Miss Black. I'm sorry, not Miss Black. She remind me, Miss Black. Miss Deal.
Yes.
I've been hearing you for years, like Sparky said. And before I ask you a question, let me say thanks for what you've been doing.
You're welcome. I am just one of those people that believe that we need to help each other. That's what we're put on this earth for, is we actually need to just help each other.
So, Miss Deal, that's must be the answer for the question. The question is why you do what you're doing.
I
mean, a woman.
You know what I do? My generation really screwed up the planet, to be perfectly honest. We did. So I'm doing whatever I can possibly do while I'm still here on the planet to make things better for my kids and my grandkids. And that is the impetus for everything I do.
Okay, Miss Deal, you know, all us gotta leave one day. Let me let you know. I love you. I love your spirit. I love how what you've been doing over the years. And like
Thank
I say,
you.
a woman coming to our houses and stuff. I never invite you yet. I thought about it many times. It's just to hear Sparky saying, let me thank this woman because she been doing it. And this woman, I said, why is she doing what she doing? Let me ask you a question. You know the water pump, the electric pump, which you buy to hook up to get the water with the
Yes.
well? Is it any way we could maybe save, or maybe you got to come and look and see maybe, but is it any way, like, you know, every time you flush the toilet, every time, you know, that going on, the current or whatever, maybe it might be a better way. I don't know if you suggest we deal with the government water, getting it from there. You know, the water heater and stuff, I think someone asked you before, the switches inside, I think we follow what you're saying. I speak pulling out the plugs and I see some saving. Sometimes I leave the TV on. Listen, God bless you and thank you for everything which you've been doing on behalf of us, the Bahamian people. Thank you, Mom.
Thanks so much.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much.
And I hope the wider audience hears and understands, what the caller is saying, right? What what he's not saying, and I can say in the subtext is, we have a ton of professionals out here that don't necessarily understand the extent to which people need them to perform at a professional standard.
Right.
And a lot of people, like Deborah said, a lot of people come on a job, they can't read. It doesn't mean that they're not invested in doing a good job. Right. It's that they are limited to the tools they have around them.
Right. It doesn't matter to me. Well, it does matter to me that you can't read, but it doesn't change. I don't judge you by that because I don't know what your circumstances are.
Right.
I mean, I'm dexterous. I am not academic. I'm not very good at that.
Yeah.
So I understand the fact that some people can work with their hands, but they never learn to read. That has nothing to do with anything.
Here's what I'm going to say. To the people who, contractors and the people with these skills, right? The construction skills. Go around in your community and find out who needs help. Like Deborah said, go walk in, go listen, tell them, look here, flush all your toilets. Let me hear what's going on. Maybe I could help you save a couple dollars. Right. People really, really want that type of assistance. They don't know how to ask, and they don't want to ask you to do it for free.
Well, with the energy things, don't forget we have the YouTube videos, right? It's BCCEC, which are the initials for Bahamas Chamber of Commerce and Employers Confederation. BCCEC, the Greene Initiative. And if you go on that, 12 videos will pop up. They're only a minute long. The only one that's longer is the one at our church, but that was the best one. They saved from $7,000 to $2,000 on their electricity. It'll tell you all the things that can actually save you money and benefit you in the long run. So anybody can go on that. It's free.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And show your kids, show the people in the house the cost savings. When they see the savings, they will be more inclined to shift their behavior.
Right. And LED light bulbs they're like a 4-pack for $8 now. So it's almost the price of an incandescent bulb from years ago.
Awesome. I think we got another caller on the line. Caller, you're on the clock.
Hey, morning, Erin.
Hey, morning.
All right. And good morning to Miss Deal. I give her that respect as Lady Deal. Super lady.
Thanks.
All right. Miss Greene,
yes,
sir. This is the hurricane season, right? And it ain't nothing, that's a humorous laugh just now. You have persons like Miss Deal who reaching out to people for free, and putting gas in her car to go by nobody else,
Yep.
No.
You understand me? She's doing that from the love of her heart. So I say that to say this. Why don't the government during this time use her, when I say use her expertise and her knowledge and her know-how to help, with to make sure that government buildings, shelters, churches, wherever they house persons when they have to evacuate and come to shelters, why don't they use her to go around to inspect them?
All they have to do is ask.
Yeah.
We had a webinar 4 weeks ago on hurricane preparedness.
The chamber.
Yes.
The chamber, and we had 332 people on that.
Wow.
I have never been on a webinar with that many people.
Yeah.
So people are concerned and worried and interested in finding out what's going on. And truthfully, June to November is going to happen with us or without us.
That's right.
Whether we're
Death,
here,
taxes, and hurricanes.
right? And that's going to happen no matter what. So there's no sense in pretending. Go ahead.
Excuse me, Ms. Deal. Piggybacking on something that you said just now. Okay, this is not the hurricane. I mean, hurricane has not impacted us to see
Yet.
Why would you wait until a hurricane is 2 or 3 days coming towards the Bahamas?
Because human beings,
people or advice, or get shelters and get wood. Get
human
this,
beings
get that.
procrastinate. They really do, and it's sad because right now, I'll tell you this right now to anybody out there listening, building supplies are virtually impossible to get, and they've doubled in price. Not because of our taxes or anything, but because of unavailability. So please don't wait till the last minute to get what you need. If you have to buy something a little bit at a time, buy it, but for God's sakes, get it now.
Thank you, DeWitt. I gotta go to another caller.
Things you see what procrastination cost in 2019 with Grand Bahama and Abaco.
Absolutely.
So all I'm simply saying is that why we, they always talk about prevention. This is a good time to prevent. At least try, and so you could be prepared.
Right. Well, the only person that can prevent it is you. You are the only person who can prevent damage done to your
automatically.
house.
When you know what you're up against, Ms. Deal, and you know it. When you know it coming, it ain't like it ain't gonna come.
Right.
But you know it coming, and if you could prepare yourself to some extent,
it's a roll of the dice.
Or you could give you advice that people are hard to prepare themselves. At least they could say, well, you know what? They prepared in some way.
Well, if anybody would like, if you want to call in or leave your name or whatever, I have a document that I did on hurricane preparedness. It goes into everything that we've talked about today, plus more. Because, when you listen to any kind of hurricane preparedness show, they're talking about insurance, they're talking about cloud for your documents, they're talking about things, but we're not talking about people. We're not talking about the missing people from Dorian. We're not talking about the fact that Bahamians don't swim. You can't live on an island and in a hurricane zone and not know how to swim. These are things that we're not that are like the little hidden secrets that we're not talking about that are so important. So if you know anybody that doesn't know how to swim, take them to a beach and teach them how to swim. I mean, these are the things that we need to actually do to save our population.
No, absolutely. I was just going to say that we just had national aquatics championships.
Yes.
And I was surprised at the number of schools that are prepared to not just teach kids how to swim, but further them along as swimmers. So take advantage of what's available out there.
Right, because identification, I mean, with the amount of persons that originally they were in the thousands, then it went down to in the hundreds. I'm just of the belief that it's really in the thousands.
Yeah.
Because, the bodies would not have washed up on our shore. They would have washed up anywhere else because Long Island, that
where
hurricane.
The currents take them.
The currents will take the bodies anywhere. And then afterwards, with the identification process, that is such a scary thing, thinking about bodies being in containers. I'm not a fan of tattoos. But I'm wondering if maybe a tattoo not on a limb, because those could, get, when you never know what's going to happen in a hurricane, but maybe on your shoulder or on your thigh or something like that. Just a tattoo that people could be able to identify you with. I mean, it's sad to actually have to think about things like that, but for the people who didn't think about that, and they're still looking for their loved ones, what do you do?
But Deborah, beyond that, it's hard to think about things like that, but that's what we have to do.
We have June to November every year.
And in the same way we talk about gender mainstreaming, right? Disabilities mainstreaming, we have to talk about hurricane mainstreaming, where people understand that the intersection with a hurricane, right, should be considered in every policy decision made and every personal decision made. We live where, you see, like I tell you, Ministry of Tourism failed. They said we live where hurricanes has come to vacation, people.
Absolutely. And what we need to do is a family needs to get together and they need to make sure that they all have phones. They need to have extra batteries. They need to have extra chargers. That you need to put your car in a place that you can actually go and use that car to charge your phones up, not in a low-lying area. There's things that we need to do. You need to have your backpack done with your documents and your
bags, Ziploc bags,
and your medicines
bags.
And all of those things. And you need to know if somebody leaves that domain during the storm, you need to know where they've gone. And you need to try to contact somebody where they're going before they actually leave. There's it's like a paper trail.
And you and your children should know your hurricane plan. They know the lyrics to the latest rap song, and y'all know the lyrics to your favorite gospel song.
Right. And know what you're going to do. Are you going to go into your attic? If you are, put in an attic stair so that everybody can climb up. Even Grammy, put a little light there, one of those little porcelain
and have a
pull
latch
chain.
and a hatchet so you could get out of the roof if you have to.
Right. Yes, put a dormer in. Right. Do something that you can actually get out so that you can actually be on the roof like people did in Dorian. I mean, there's so many things. The document that I have goes into all of that information. So Erin already has it. I sent it to her a couple weeks ago. She can share that with everybody.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I will do. But Deborah, you not finish your work here today. I have to have you back on because I got some questions for you to answer, like how do I protect my home and appliances from unexpected power outages?
You can actually buy or have your electrician put on a main house surge protector.
Okay.
It's not one that you plug in. It's a main house.
So listen-
and it's like $180 and it will protect your whole house.
So if I hear my cousins coming around the corner and I didn't invite them for Sunday dinner, could I just shut the whole house down and pretend like ain't nobody home?
You could pretend. The next thing is most people that don't have the ground rod, and that's why you lose your appliances. Because when you build your house, like my house was built 38 years ago, right? I couldn't find my ground rod because we had landscaping and everything else. But that is one of the reasons that your house will just, all your appliances will go. And you can't blame BPL for that. So please check to make sure that you have a ground rod.
You don't know what I could blame BPL for, man.
Well,
but I would
that's a
like to
whole
thank
other
you.
show.
I'd like to thank you for bringing reason and logic into the conversation. Deborah Deal, I gotta go. And just before I go, since I was talking about my cousins who I love very, very much, I want to send a shout out to my nephew, Aiden Lambert in Georgia. Dear Georgians, hold on to your wheels because he just got his driver's license and he's a working man now. So, dear nephew, you better get ready to take your old bald-head auntie round the town.
Yeah.
Anyway, have a great day, nephew. Have a great day, Bahamas. Thank you very much,
Thank you
Deborah
very much.
Deal.
I enjoy coming on.
And you're coming back. Don't
Okay.
watch nothing. We got to
Okay.
keep talking
Yes.
hurricanes because ain't nothing else to talk about.
Hey.
Arlington, play that music. To my audience, thank you for tuning in to On the Clock with Erin Greene and Deborah Deal. Stay tuned to 96.9 FM, Guardian Radio, because Lee Van Miller is up next to bring you your next installment of Smart Talk all day. Have a great day.